Hello, my name is Austin Tenna, and for the Sports Psychology Matters project, I'm doing mine on chapter 14, self confidence. So, going on to the next slide, there's a lot of information, but I want to start off with the definition of self confidence by Weinberg. It's going to be the belief that you can successfully perform a desired behavior. So, my way of explaining it is more trusting yourself that you can succeed due to your own abilities. So there's high self confidence and low self confidence. So for examples right here are high self confidence, I'm going to win the championship this year, and for low self confidence is I'm not good enough to guard this player. So high self confidence is basically like you got this, and you can achieve it, while low self confidence is like a lack of uh, a lack of confidence. Like you don't believe you can do it, and you have like self doubt, and you have a negative perspective rather than a positive one. So going on to state self confidence, meaning confidence is unstable. So really, you don't know if you're going to be confident today or confident another time. It's just very unpredictable. Like you just don't know when it's going to happen. You can be confident today, but then the next game you're going to be unconfident. So what's the opposite of that? It's going to be trait self confidence. And this is what most athletes have, and it's confidence that is stable. So it shows consistency, and basically, if you're going to do well right now, the next game, you can also be what's it called? Like, I got this. So, for example, this would be like LeBron James. Like, every game that he plays, it's like, he's got it because he's always confident. Like, you rarely see him perform terrible or anything like that. It's just like for a fact that he's like this game he's confident he's gonna play good. The next game he's confident he's gonna play good, and it just keeps on going. And so self-fulfilling prophecy is a certain outcome happens because you're expecting it to happen. So you basically make it real by overthinking about it. So what you expect is basically what you get as a result. So optimal self-confidence. So the graph right here is inverted U shape, and it's a relationship between confidence and performance. So the x-axis, which is left to right, is going to be underconfidence to overconfidence. And if you see right there, there's this little piece that says just right. And so on the y-axis, there's from bottom to top, it's low performance to high performance. So going back to that little just right piece right there, it's going to be right there is like where you really want it to be, because underconfidence is like you basically like lacking confidence, and basically you're not good under pressure at key moments. And for overconfidence, it's basically like a false confidence. So what that means is like you're being a little too flamboyant. You think like, oh, I got this and that, and it's like you how do I explain it? Oh, so basically you decrease in performance because you don't actually have the ability to actually play that good, but in your mind you're telling yourself like I got this. So, for example, would be like somebody that's not good at 3 points. He's being very overconfident that like yeah I could what's it called shoot these 3 pointers right now. Like whenever he shoots it, he keeps missing. Why? Because he doesn't have that skill, first of all, and second is just like his mind basically like taking another step and basically making him believe that like yeah I could do it even though he can't. And so self-efficacy theory. So um, way Weinberg explains it is the perception of one's ability to perform a task successfully is really a situation specific form of self confidence. So, the way I put it is the ability of using your senses to be aware and succeed during performance. So, basically, basically, it's just like those key moments that like really matter. So, for this picture right here, you have Cristiano Ronaldo shooting a penalty shot, and penalty shots are like those key pressure moments. It's either you're gonna score or you're not. And so specific types of efficacy, there's learning efficacy, which is the belief that one can learn a new skill. Decision making efficacy, which is the belief that one can make successful decisions. Coping efficacy, belief that one consciously be aware and cope with threats. And self presentational efficacy, which is the belief that one can bring and show impressions to others. Oh, and the last one, other efficacy, belief that one believe that one can believe in others. So not even just like believing in yourself, but like you could believe in others as well. So it's like a trust factor. Like I trust you that you also have this confidence as well. While self presentation is you can show impressions to the others. Coping is more like how do you do with those situations. So like for example, Cristiano Ronaldo, like how does he deal with like right before he takes a penalty shot? Because I know it's like high pressure at the moment. How are you going to deal with that? Decision making is basically like, all right, quarterbacks for example, it's like yeah, they make the routes and all that, and what's it called, if they're not assisted by the coach. For example, like Tom Brady, he makes up the plays and all that. You see, he's making the decision of like, I know this is gonna go down, and we're gonna do it. And learning efficiency, yeah. So you're just basically learning a new skill. So it's like a constant. It's a constant game. You just learn and learn and learn. There's never like a limit that you can't stop learning. And so, what affects performance? So, sources of self efficacy. There's Bandura has a theory that 6 categories lead on to an outcome for one's self efficacy, and those 6 are performance accomplishments, which basically means success or failure. So you're mastering the experience or you're not. Vicarious experiences is helping to learn new skills, so modeling. Verbal persuasion is influencing behavior by persuasion and talk, so communication. Imaginal experiences, imagining oneself in future situations, either succeeding or failing. So that's more like a thought process. So it's like kind of like performance accomplishments, but just in your mind at that moment. Like, do you think you could do it or not? Physiological states is basically awareness of physiological arousal, so your body responses. So your heart rate's gonna pump up, um, your blood's gonna be running more. You're gonna be feeling nervous and all that. And emotional states is gonna be experiences and mental state of mind affecting the way you perform. So that's gonna be like the feelings. So that actually fits for nervous. Like you're gonna feel nervous when you're performing. So like you're gonna be a little more shy. You're just gonna have like all these emotions in your head and all that, and it's like you really gotta like control them to actually like maximize your full effort. And the 6 categories create one's efficacy expectation, and efficacy expectation determines one's athletic performance. So that's like the overall performance that the athlete does in place. So connecting this to a real life situation will be Andrew Luck's retirement. So what's the news? It's Andrew Luck gave a speech after the Bears and Colts game that he's calling his retirement. So the main reason is due to constant injuries and rehab cycles, so assessment, assignment, intervention, and evaluation. He dealt with a huge injury in 2015, was out for 26 consecutive weeks, and he didn't return to the 2018 season, and he was dealing with a sprained shoulder, lacerated kidney, and fractured ribs. So you could imagine the pain that he went through. And Luck mentioned that he lost his passion for football nearly 4 years, since 2015, because of injuries preventing him from enjoying the game. So that goes to those emotional factors, the emotional state. It's like he just lost it because the injuries just like took over his mind. And how does this relate to self confidence? So Andrew Luck went from a high self confidence to low self confidence throughout his NFL career, because when he started off, he was a great quarterback. He was optimistic, and later he received the injuries, and it basically like put a shift in his confidence. So he was anxious and very aware that opponents were going to get to him, and possible injury. Luck was having underconfidence since he thought injury was affecting his gameplay in a negative way. This messed him up mentally because during the last full season he was worried about injury, and it affected the overall game, especially of being under pressure as a quarterback. And Luck was applying self fulfilling prophecy in a negative way since he was expecting himself to get injured during the game. That goes back to the constant thinking. So imaginal, what was it? Imaginal experiences. He would be thinking about that rather than like actually winning the game. And Luck's athletic performance was most likely affected due to Bandura's theory of performance accomplishments, physiological states, and emotional states, as I mentioned. And physiological states with the body responses would also relate back to like the injury because injuries really like they're very painful, they hurt. Um, and so my critical questions to ask to use are what do you believe is the best way to return from injury with a confident mindset? So what I put specifically right here at the bottom is to keep in mind that everyone is different. Time may vary for each individual, and injury severity may make the process of physical and psychological recovery longer. And question number two, which of the six categories from Bandura's theory do you believe is the most critical for athletic performance? So those are two questions I'd like for you to think about, and please really put some thought into which of the six categories do you think would be the most effective. And thank you for um, checking out this presentation. I really hope you enjoyed it. And lastly, here's the reference and website that I used, which was the journal from an ESPN article of Andrew Luck's retirement. Thank you.